And we are going to be back, and of course I get a high flop here, but I have less than pot size behind, so oh well, I really hate these situations. Well, let's hope that he doesn't have the ace. And he was drawing practically dead, but by checking I at least allow him the possibility to bluff, so that was the main idea here. Main idea. So now I will have the delay, which is of course going to make commenting or a bit more tricky, but for the peace of mind of the streamer, it's always good to have it. And well, we are at 5 big blind deep, so queen deuce is going to be good enough. Let's check back here. We have also the queen of clubs, so queen isn't going to be quite as bad. Oh well, jack 10. I'm a bit worried that this guy might make some really stupid limp calls as well, so let's try to complete. Of course, the downside is that then other small short stack gets that possibility. Well, 9 queen in the Nash, I think it's going to be call. And he has tiny bit better, but luck boxing is good way to go. It's pretty close, I think. Folding wouldn't be bad either. Unfortunately, we don't turn any equity on the bottom right, so I will just go up here. And jack 9 again. It's going to be in the Nash range. This guy has been quite active, so I think I will call that one as well. As now we are in great shape. Well, seems like we don't have 25 euro players now, so let's take 10 euro. Actually, only this week Saturday I will have another of those coaching type of streams. We are going to be talking about heads-up SNG games here. So basically, for everyone, it's going to be pretty interesting in a way that whatever you are MTT or SNC player, there is going to be heads up situations, so it's valuable for most people. I've never played heads up SNCs like as a in big volume, but sometimes playing those still. Massey King. That guy has probably been watching Lucifer TV series. Actually recently watched the end of the season 4. I think there was coming one more season still. Well, this one we have to give up. Really weak backdoor draws only, pretty much. And pocket threes will be mandatory call, even if I don't love it that much. But that seems like we got walked. So yeah, basically I have this sort of that I can use the hotkeys here to basically zoom to one of the tables, or well, I should now make them probably they are a bit more useful now that the tables are a bit smaller. So like even if the overlap happens, it's not quite as drastic as it was before. And that actually works just that when I have click the short key button, I can have a new skin for the smaller area. King queen will obviously be notched here. Top pair, but it's never that great on board like that. I will actually go for check raise here on the bottom left. Pretty nice hand. Only downside is if we face the 3-bet, because then it gets awkward. Well, he makes it min 3-bet, so I kind of have to call. And we nail the absolute nuts for the turn, and then he shuts down. Well, I'm just going to shove here, and I think, or I could check as well and try to lure him into. Wow, that is just weird line. Went loose into ace deuce. Like he has the 2 pair, but then he suddenly shut down on that turn. I don't know, seems pretty weird. I mean, it's basically one of the safest cards in a way. Not this time, but it's pretty rare to improve my range, to be honest. Yeah, I think I just zip it here, and if he has better, then he has better. That's nice thing about these fizzy guys. And on the top right, not really great situation, but he might sometimes even be value betting a bit weaker 2 pair, and he actually was. And going to defend queen check suited here. And well, his sizing is such that I will try to value raise here. Let's just hope that he doesn't shove over. Yeah, well, I actually don't watch that many poker streams. I have got such pair on tier, but will lend us so quite a bit of strength. So let's just give up. Well, if I think about poker-related streams, I think I mainly tend to watch. There is one Finnish guy who is streaming for the Poker Institute poker forum. That's the one of the guys that I sometimes watch. Pretty much any queen is good enough against the min raise, at least against the active opponent. And we nail pretty much the nuts on the top left. And this guy uses 3.5 BP, so I will just get away with that crappy ace. And we try to get 3 streets out of this demon. Well, actually I went a bit too big probably. Well, it can work pretty nicely if he happens to be the sort of guy that calls too much with the draws, but I should have probably gone a bit smaller here for the stack that we had. Actually, if talking about streams, I probably watch more about some game related, like I have watched a couple of different car simulation game players, and actually have tried to stream about Gran Turismo Sport on my channel as well, but that hasn't went too well. So should strain to be a bit better first on the game. Checking back on the top left, and I think also on the bottom left. This guy is once again donk betting. He has had quite a few total airball hands, so I'm actually. I think I have best hands really often, but is there any value in betting on the top right? That's the question. And once again, he shows like some random queen high. Pretty weird guy. Pretty weird guy. Well, unfortunately I'm not getting split pot with the weaker AX. And we actually get one of the pretty nice flops with my 6-7 suited. We are 20 big blind bottom left, so I was shoved here. This is a bit too good to be folded, because I also have the backdoor straight draw possibility here. Yeah, I have never followed the Tongue Cup, but obviously obviously have heard of the guy. Yeah, I think he's these days playing more about MTTs if I remember correctly, but he had been one of the nosebleed stake SNC grinders as well. On the stars, I don't know if he plays there anymore, but this guy is using such a small sizings that it's kind of tricky to fold. We'll check on the top left, so I have some solid sort of calling hands if he decides to bet. Yeah, this guy loves to make those totally stupid bluffs all the time. Like, he doesn't really have any equity overall, like outside of 3 outer or something. Well, this one I have to fold if he min bet. And he actually value bet weaker. Oh yeah, I need to register into new ones. And once again, it doesn't make any sense, I think, to raise. He probably just folds all those random crap that he has. Okay, good luck on the cleaning. And yeah, let's hope that we have good run on the session. It hasn't been too good recently. Okay, I could shove here with the stack that we have. There's some merit. So I don't know, against this guy, he's doing so much of those stupid barrelings that maybe calling would have been better, but I think I just shove here. I mean, if I make like 700 or 800, it's pretty obvious that I'm not going to be folding. So let's just go for the aces. Well, that was a nice turn. Bad luck to be on the absolute setup situation, but not a big deal if you catch the rare out. This guy haven't been raising my limp single time, so let's make min raise, even though I usually don't do one. With that sort of stack depth. Okay, let's see, bet here. Of course, getting both of them to fold is going to be relatively rarely. Jack was pretty crappy one. I think I just check back here and take the free equity. And we hit the straight. I think I still have to shove here. Backdoor flush draw is pretty rarely going to improve him. Of course, he might sometimes have the have the full house, but at the same time, there are quite a few Jack X, the King X combos he might still be calling. So let's go for it. And it's good news that he doesn't snap call. At least we are probably good. Unless he's slow playing. Yeah, it was nice one. Bye. Oh well, run into nuts here. Pretty standard 3-bet shove. What the heck? He took like ages and he has the flush. Okay, maybe it was too optimistic. If he was thinking of folding it flushed here. Probably too optimistic then. Well, I have 10 and 25 euro both. This King Jack would actually be okay to sometimes 3-bet in that spot. But usually I will just call because the price is pretty nice and so on. I think I go for a small C, but there are also like if the Jack or Queen comes, I can double barrel and put pressure on him. Nicely. Of course, some other cards are somewhat reasonable. Okay, well, that's not the case anymore. That was easy hand. Just checking back here with the King High. Have some showdown value, but I can't really call. Well, I wouldn't usually continue on the top left, but he's min betting. So the question is that is our flush draw or pair draw. Sometimes we might even have the best hand with the Queen High. I think I actually go for shove here on the bottom left. Of course, we are really deep against the small blind, but yeah, he actually raised. I actually didn't notice that one. I thought that he was limping. Well, I can't really shove against his raise. We can probably still call it here and play quite set mine way because we are still pretty deep. Of course, sometimes this short stack might also limp shove, so it does make it a bit worse. But and now we actually hit the set. It's nice when you run like this. Well, of course we don't know the outcome yet, but anyway. And we have really often the best hand on the bottom right still, so I'll go for somewhat somewhat thin value. And on the other table I raised here, limped here, made it a c-bet, and I think I just shove here. My hand is so often going to be the best one still. And it's around one pot size only. Let's hope they don't have like set or something. Or some way overplayed 8-6 or something. 7-6, we are still ahead. Still ahead somewhat. I'm going to 3-bet light against this guy. And the small blind is cold calling, which he should never pretty much do. Oh, well, do we have any fold equity really? Well, it's probably still best to go for small c-bet and try to get some fold equity. Of course we have some backdoor equity by checking also, but on the bottom left we most of the time have the best hand. Most of the time have the best hand. Well, that was bit crappy river in a way that if he was bluffing, no, he checked with the, was playing with slow play style. Well, really small sizing, but my hand is not really the greatest one. I don't know, maybe I should call that one as well against that sizing, but it shouldn't be horrible fold either. Okay, this guy seems to be, maybe he's just hitting well. I think I don't want to try to open total those really crappy hands necessarily. And I'm just going to raise here with the top pair. Well, queen is quite a crappy card. And that is one, another crappy one. Oh well. Well, now we don't need to bluff. And that went nicely. I would have just called in the villain shoes on the turn. I don't think raising make too much sense overall, because you have some showdown value with the king high itself, so and queen 8 will be shoved here on the top left. And I think I go for check raise here. Well, that was quite a crappy one. So of course him having the 4 is somewhat unlikely as well, so let's try. Well, quite passive that he didn't 3-bet pre-flop with the ace-jack suited. Seems like I want to trap him by limping some strong stuff as well. Seems to attack quite often against the limping. And this time I will go for check raise with the actual value hand. You can also mix some check calls of course with the trips here, but these are always kind of weird spots that they lead the AX on the turn, because it's such a lot better card for my range, but I really don't have anything here, so of course I can beat bunch of the draws still, but shouldn't be issue to fold that one. Let's take one more €10 game. And usually I just 3-bet shove with this sort of, especially when he 2.5x is pre-flop, but I mean, like if you 3-bet small with hand like ace king off, for example, it's just that if the will lane flat, you have such a easy recipe for nasty flop situations. Like you have something like bit over pot size remaining in the stack depth, and not hit the flop, so it's going to be tough situations often. Can you stack off? How you should play and so on. Oh, well, I can't really beat much on the upper right. Well, and once again I hit the draw right away. suppose I could try to bet really small here and kind of a blocker bet. Hope that he goes with some 2 pairs like that and fold if he raises pretty much, because he will have also quite a lot of AX here, but I mean if I check he's going to be checking back with so many, like pretty much any 2 pair and that type of hand, and mainly bet with some AX, same straight, or of course some weak pair or something might try to bluff, but and 10-8 was just a bit too strong to be folded here, or limp folded. I think shoving is the best option. Well, that was nasty 2 hands for the bad rec guy on the bottom right. And king would obviously be open shove, but not going to do anything against the open raise. I actually will open shove with the AX. Well, I mean, by shoving I get to put a lot of pressure on the other big stack, and if I min raise, well, I was thinking about min raising and still folding against the small stack. It wouldn't be a bad option either, but I think both have their good and bad sides. Even folding wouldn't be that bad. Well, 7-5 suited is kind of a hand that it's pretty close, but I think we can peel, and I could actually try to shove here. Maybe we get some A-highs to fold. Well, unfortunately he had also the gutshot. I don't know, he might be calling all the AX anyway, but the thing is that most of the time we still have, if he calls some ace-10 or something, we still have so many. I mean, we have the gutshot, so it's going to be 10 out still. Of course, sometimes he has some pocket pair and we are drawing really thin, but at the same time you need to think like, are you then planning to check fold that flop, or it's only pot size, so it's kind of questionable if the check shove would be better, but it might be that he's going to shove quite often by c-bet and then we have to fold. Well, this is actually a situation where we can just call as well. We are so deep stacked against the other big stack. Okay, well, ace-queen suited is way too strong to be folded here, even though we are like almost 50 pp deep. And only 9 or 8 was out for him. So that went nicely. That went nicely. Yeah, it's kind of tricky to manually put these tables. Yeah, we might have a good chance to get light 3 bets here on the upper left because the big blind is sitting out. So, and this is actually a situation that I will check back. We also have the queen of hearts, so basically the hand couldn't be any more perfect for slow playing. And he pots here, so I will just shove and hope that he doesn't have king 10. That would be quite nasty. Okay, let's move that. 10 euro gained here. Well, pretty crappy board, but I think I still need to call that 50 chips. And now we have pretty nutty hand. Of course not, he can have like jack 10, but let's hope he only has like flush or something. This is mandatory raise, and I think I just shove here. If he has the flush, he's not folding. I have to say that I'm streaming for the Skype chat. Planning to go to Colin Mossman stream on the poker strategy this week, so he was contacting about that. Just shoving the ace-3, we are like a bit over 10 big blind deep. And he makes pretty funny sort of, I don't know if the trap is correct term or. Well, it's kind of close. That do I want to shove or raise. I would shove bit better suited king, but I think we can probably still raise fold these really small ones. It's not bad hand to raise fold in a way that we have some blocker value. Some blocker value, some playability if they call. And of course open raising the almost flush draw. I have straight flush. Well, of course you can fold those really small ones, but we are pretty deep stacked yet still, so I will tend to open most of these. Well, I will just call here, and if it happens to come fourth spade, we can still fold, but I think otherwise we really can't fold. And when he checks, I think we have the best hand really often. He probably actually had some sort of two pairs. Maybe even shoving the turn would have been sensible, but in a way, but I was just thinking that he might have a bit more polarized range here. Oh, he was just check raising with pretty questionable hand here. And on the bottom left, I don't like. In a way, you can raise call that sort of ace6 on the, or I mean check call, but it's just that the hand is going to improve so rarely. And I don't like to fold here, but the problem is that we still have this guy behind us, so I mean, if I call here and this guy shoves, it's such a disaster. So let's just fold. And on the bottom left, I will go for river bluff. We can't have much worse than this, so we don't need to get that many better hands to fold. I was planning to bet a bit bigger, but wheel didn't take the action. Well, seems like we saved a few chips here. And this is pretty nice spot to be putting pressure on the wheel lane on the bottom left. And yeah, I think I will go for a reverse shove here, put the maximum pressure. We have so many nutty hands here as well, so this is one of the quite few bluffs we can have here. And luckily he folded. Didn't manage to spew it off completely. Just check folding. We have some showdown value with the king high, so we can try to check the showdown if possible. And on the top left, if this guy is sitting out, it's not actually a bad spot to shove that total crap I turn. But he actually came back. I kind of hate that side of this side, that because it works kind of stupid way that if you are like thinking about your action and the wheel lane comes back, it doesn't update the data before you are actually done your action. So I kind of dislike that functionality personally. Well, let's just check this time. I was thinking about value betting on the bottom right, but it's still a three-way bot, so. But this guy betting the river seems quite. So I would expect the Jack X to be betting quite often on the turn, especially when he's in the position at last to act. Oh, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Set on the river. Well, this guy didn't really want to bet too big with his straight. And Jack 4, even though I don't really love the idea, it's going to be good enough to shove barely. So we need to be good 1 out of 8 times here on the top left. It would make some sense to just bluff raise as well, in a way that we don't have too big of a pair, but we block, by having the pair, we block the 2 pair type of hands, and we are also blocking the straight, so in a way you can also think about just bluff raising the river. But at the same time, calling is not going to be, I think, bad option either. Pretty weird that he didn't bet the turn. At least tells something that he's not too eager to be bluffing or semi-bluffing. I mean, when I show a lot of weakness, he has 5 high and gut shot with it. It would be pretty standard stat for me. And we managed to get one of the outs here. I'm just going to check back with the queen high. We have some showdown value and unfortunate setup on the top left. Well, let's hero call on the top left. Oh, he had it. Monster. I think I still have to call here. I might be ahead of some flush draw, some queen jack type of hand. And I also have quite a lot of possibilities to improve. Now we should be ahead pretty much always. Unless he has queen 8. King queen should be pretty unlikely. Queen 8 would make some sense in a way, but 5 jack. Well, that was quite wild once again. I can open shove, I can limp shove. Let's go with the open, easiest option. Let's go with the easiest option. These suited connectors are nice to open with these deep stack situations especially. I will just open shove here. It's such awkward, nasty situation to be. If I'm in race and big stack is shoving, I have to fold. So to prevent that possibility, I just prefer open shove. And I actually have 3 €25 tables here, so registration. So let's take one of those out and take €10. Better to have €10 game running than nothing at all. So we get into heads up here. Let's raise that limp with the. I was thinking that how that all in happened. Oh yeah, they went into flop first. Went into flop first. 9 was pretty crappy one. Like if he was bluffing with some sort of straight draw, he pretty much improved with all those combos. So have to fold. Have to fold. And well, I think I fold with the ace queen, but obviously doesn't feel too good. But they both actually had better hand. On the bottom right, this is actually a decent spot to check raise as a bluff, because we are blocking basically top pair and we have some backdoor straight flush possibilities. I think I go for second barrel, even though we don't really have much here, but in a way, if the flush completes, we can try to represent the flush still. And I think I just solve with the ace queen. We are pretty deep, I don't know. Let's take the call option. Trying to go for check raised here on the turn, but... And he was betting against 2 people here, so I think I just fold the not low. Not low. Oh well, quite surprising he doesn't bet the ace queen king here. Well, would have gotten him into nasty spots when I would have check raised. And I think I have to go with the king queen suited. 10 big blind shove, and big blind is also a bit shorter stacked as well, so let's just go with it. And we are ahead. Well, this guy just doesn't raise against the limp. So in general, against this sort of really passive opponent, you don't need to be trapping that much in the limping portion. I think I just call on the upper right. It's extremely dry flop, and It's also a situation where villain might try to triple barrel me sometimes eagerly with the stack setup how it is. It's pretty tough to get gold here on the heads up from weaker hand if I try to I think I actually try to raise here. I mean, it looks kind of a steal attempt in my opinion. Might be Deus Ex quite often as well. Well, let's try to semi-bluff with the gut shots. And queen is strong enough, 5 big blind deep. I think it's around 7 big blind. Actually 9 big blind with the queen 5. In the Nash ranges. On the bottom left I could have actually checked to prevent exactly this situation. My hand is kind of a bad in these spots because I'm blocking quite a lot of semi-bluff hands he could have here, so I think I actually give up. But yeah, checking flop would have been a nice option here. And this guy is min raising my limp, so can't really fold much. I suppose this would be kind of decent to check raise. But he doesn't seem to fold, so okay. Probably had some sort of overpair or something. Well timed out on the outer table with the straight on the river. Well, luckily I was just going to value bet, so didn't lose the pot at least. Well, we didn't get to see his hand. In a way, I like to have those sort of bluffs sometimes, because then you can have some semi-bluffs that you can also easily let go against the Like if you check raise and he happens to 3-bet or shoves against you on the turn, you can easily give up, but you still have some showdown value at least. Well, let's hope for miracle dog shot here. Oh, we got the straight here. Let's go for a huge value bet on the bottom right. Oh, well. He might still have quite a few busted draws, so let's make the call. But really didn't like that situation. Ace 3 off, I could have folded it here on the top left, but I think shooter is just a bit too strong. It's better Queen X on the top left, and I would go with it, but I think this is a tiny bit on the weak side. No, let's just fold. I think I go with the suited queens here, with the blinds hitting me. It's a decent spot. With my stack depth, I think I probably have to call here. His range is usually also somewhat capped. He doesn't have all the super premium hands, but unfortunately he had the higher AX still. €10 games dropping in everywhere, it seems. And this genius min 3 betting. And 2 overs plus draw. I think I just check raise here and that's it. And can't hit anything. Oh well. That was crappy turn. But yeah, like still had, well, he actually took one of my flush draws away, so still had 11 outs here. I'm not sure if I had any straight draw possibilities, but I mean backdoor straight draw, but anyway, pretty close to flip, even with the 11 outs. And looking pretty good on the top left. I will raise against the limp and call if he shoves. And doesn't make too much sense to be betting the turn here or flop. Well, luckily he didn't go for limp, so well, pretty nice blockers against the Queen X at least, with the King Jack hand. I suppose in this event though it's 5-handed, 5-way, but betting the turn would have probably made decent amount of sense. Well, that was pretty crappy flop. In a way, calling here would be kind of nice, because this guy would shove, he would open the new betting round, dose 4. Oh Jesus, what idiot. Dose 4. Okay. Well, you can defend decently wide even against 2.5 pp open, but I think deuce 4 would be pretty clear fold to most players. Well, apparently not. And let's double barrel here. In a way, it's also a decent spot. Like if the flush draw completes, we have the queen as pretty nice blocker for triple barrel shove. Maybe sometimes get some AX to fold as well. Well, with the king jack we can go either way, but I personally prefer flatting utilities because that way you can use the position and the hand plays pretty nice. And also if I shove and he calls, it's basically always going to be better hand than mine. Well, almost always. Weird things happen on this side, but almost always. Well, now would be decent spot to limp, but we saw that the guy was defending deuce 4 off before against the small raise, so I suppose he's never folding against the raise pretty much. Unfortunately, he didn't take the bait against my check, so let's bet ourselves. And I have monster draw on the top left, so I'm not going to fold it. Ace 5. Funny players. That's the best case scenario here when I shout that he's against the monster draw. Ace 7 on other hand will have the blocker and not that great playability, so let's shout that one. I suppose I could limp that 6-3, but min bet. Let's go for small value bet. And hopefully one of the blank rivers. Well, not the absolute blank. 20 check, so 10x is somewhat unlikely. Oh well. Yeah, I was just thinking that they probably have mostly like less than 10x, or they might have, well, sometimes they might have some like 2 pair or something, but and now we have the practical knots. The question is, what is the sizing? Seems quite weak, so let's go for 900. Well, not the greatest situation on the bottom right. Oh well. Well, I can't fold this one. Probably. Oh, Jesus, what? Well, that was unlucky turn card. I don't know, maybe. Without the club blocker, it's better to fold, but... Maybe raising small against that guy would have made some sense with the jacks. We get him to call some total garbage that way. Quads are enough on the bottom left. And the ace is obviously call against button on the top left. If the small blind folds sometimes through this year. And we held against the king jack here. No heart, please. That was pretty crazy 3-bet shove. King 7 off. Going for open shove with the suited ace on the bottom left. Jesus, that was nasty. That was nasty river. I probably have the best hand on the bottom left, but considering the board, it's pretty tough to get value from weaker. Probably pretty nice of him to not shove pre-flop here. Huge setup on the bottom left. We were like 5 big blind deep and ace queen versus jacks. Could have been so much weaker hands. So much weaker ones. I think I go for a small raise here, even though I wouldn't usually do it. This is one of those situations where I basically always have some monster and manage to get bad flop still. Well, probably best possible outcome anyway. If I had shoved, that hand would probably fold. And going for second barrel on the upper right. Pretty nasty on the bottom left. Problem is that I get such a good pot odds. Only 900. Well, we are actually in good shape. Just that quite often we might be dominated as well, and then it's not going to be good enough pot odds, but sometimes he might have also like king jack, king queen, and some smaller pocket pair that we have to overcard. So and if betting this flop on the upper right, we pretty much have to continue against the check raise, and I don't like to fold here when the total blank comes. But betting here doesn't really make too much sense. I mean, when he check raises flop, he mainly has better made hand or some sort of draw. So against that sort of range, it's pretty questionable to be betting here. So let's just check, and that is pretty much the blank river, unless he's for some reason was check raising bottom pair, which happens sometimes. But yeah, I think I call here. Of course we block some of the semi-bluffs with the king, but it's sort of weird why, in my opinion, like if he has strong hand, doesn't he want to protect his hand on the turn on draw report? And he had it draw, that is. And calling on the bottom left because king high can sometimes be good, and we have some backdoor potential here. I think I just go for raise. It's pretty rare that he's going to be min bet 3-betting us, at least. Of course it happens sometimes, but relatively rarely. And just checking and hoping for check back on the bottom right, but he bets. Problem is that he can be value betting like any pocket pair pretty much. Sometimes have the 6x and so on. Min bet. Well, king jack suited. I think I just go for open shove because it's so nasty to win raise, and we can't quite call against usual 3-bet shove ranges with 15 big blind. Seems like no one wants to play 50 euro game today. Have been the only one in registration pretty much of fall session. With the 15 big blind, I just shove here with the. You can raise like 3x or 2.5 pp, but it will bring some of those somewhat nasty situations with pretty shallow pot to stack ratio. So I don't mind to just shove. And we got action on the top left. Hopefully no aces. Well, ace king. And unfortunately that ace on the board. And pretty much only case that I fold the sixes is if this guy shoves and this guy gets along, or if the button open shoves. And in here I think I pretty much have to shove. Of course, I don't know how often this guy is going to limp fold, but they do stuff like that as well. And even if he calls some random hand, it's not really bad with the dead chips, or most likely dead chips. Button is almost never going to limp call it here. And definitely calling here again with our cut shot as well. And basically 5x is somewhat okay. I think I have to call here, but with the pot odds we have, That's the reason why I don't love the situation. But at the same time we are blocking the AX and we don't block pretty much any draws he could have. And the bottoms are pretty nice. Well, I think I play these to end and quit the session. It has been pretty decent one so far. Or did we have games? Well, there's no 25 starting right away. Just checking that if there was, I could start one more, but I think King 7 would be pretty close actually, but I don't think it's bad to open fold either. Yeah, definitely not folding, but I think we have the best hand probably quite often, but again, what hand is he going to be calling if I shove here? So let's just call for the case that he actually has the ace somehow. Like, I don't know, maybe he calls with the king high, hoping that I have busted flush draw or something, but it's pretty big question if that's possibility or not. Of course he might have some pocket pair that he was trapping and then goes for a line like that, which might call. Ace 3, it's really close, I would say. Because he's shoving just 4 big blinds. Well, that was lucky outcome. And not shoving total garbage here. Well, no walk, but we flopped the nuts pretty much. Nice spot to stab in a way that I would also bet any sort of gut shot or whatever. So now the nice thing is that their stacks have been evened out somewhat, so if it goes well we can get into a situation that they are both almost dead in the bubble. Like if in the next hand, if the button folds, I will be shoving any 2 and so on. Well, ace-5 is actually so strong that we can ISO shove against the button. Less than three big blind raise. And on the next hand we can shove pretty wide because big blind should be folding a lot. And we are way ahead of him. So not bad outcome. Big chip lead on the heads up. That's something you want to achieve in those situations, that you get into clear chip lead position on the bubble. And sometimes when you try to get that result, you will run into few strong hands or so on, and happen to be the bubble boy after all. But that's just the part of the game. If that never happens, then you are just way too careful as chip leader. No deuce, thank you. Yeah, I will probably stream next time something like maybe Thursday. I will be at Wednesday. I will be on as visitor on the Mossman stream. We will go through one of my 4 table, or well, I had a bit more tables, but as well, but mainly 4 tabling here on the recording area. Around bit over 1 hour, so we'll be watching that and talking about the situations that came. So if someone is interested to watch that one, it will be on the Wednesday, I think around 20 Central European time, I think. I'm not totally sure, something like that. So I stream one of my live sessions on Thursday or Friday, and then have the Saturday we have that heads up SNG thing, going for like 3-bet here with the blockers we have, and some weirdo is once again making cold call. It's always kind of bad thing, because then this guy gets better buttons to call and better risk reward to do that sort of play. So basically, especially like when you are out of position, like this guy was at the small blind out of position against a 3-betting guy, and you are cold calling, it's just something that it's kind of questionable if there is any hand that you want to do that with. You can have the range for it, but one of the problems is that often people tend to make that sort of play with sort of strong but not absolute monster hands. So it's often some kind of ace jack, ace queen, pocket nines to pocket jacks or so. So it's extremely sort of face up range quite easily. Of course, he might be just total fish and he had king 10 off or something. Who knows, but that's just one thing to think about, that if you want to make that sort of calls with those strong but not absolute premium hands, then the question is that, well, I have to call here with the ace queen. Then the question is that, do you want to also cold call biggest pocket pairs to balance that range and not be quite as face up with with the cold calling range. But in general, the calling has a downside that then the open raiser is going to get great potters to call us behind as well, and then you are going to be in the sandwich position, cold calling that 3-bet. So not the most awesome of situations. And no help on the right table, so we'll be just giving up. Well, we hit the 9, but well, let's see if our hand is good. We can't value, but here we can definitely have some AXs that are ahead, but this time he didn't. It's pretty thin to value bet here. Like even if the villain has something weaker, it's always the question that is he going to call with it or not. This is actually a card that we can check back, because if the villain had draw, he's quite easily folding. Now that he donk bets, I'm just going to call here, and basically he has the 9, or he's having some sort of bluff attempt, most likely. Or he's playing 7x in a pretty weird way. And obviously have to call the 6s. We can maybe fold like deuces, but that's pretty much it. Let's check here with the weak jack X and backdoor flush draw. Oh, was planning 2.5xing, but accidentally went a bit bigger. Let's try to bet. We can sometimes get call from. Wow. Well, let's see if he really has it. Was saying that we sometimes get we might even sometimes get call from hand that plays the table here. And usually I don't raise these sort of 9 deuce hands against the limping, because it's sort of hand that can be somewhat easily dominated as well against some 9 jack or that type of hand. But if I have like 5-3, it's way less likely to be dominated and has some connectivity and so on. Well, we don't really have much with that. Well, let's go. Usually I will just fold these, but once in a while I think it's fine to Fine to 3-bet with them. Of course, the main problem is that the hand doesn't really have any relevant blockers. Ouch. That would have made me clear chip leader. And let's stab it. Well, in a way, it would make some sense to shove here, but I think I would have shoved if it was 4 or 8 that I had open-ended, but I think I just give up here. That one might have folded. It's actually pretty loose call pre-flop. Or really loose in my opinion. Not even suited hand. So probably we learn that we don't want to be 3-betting too light, at least with small 3-bets. If he's not folding that sort of hand. And min 3-betting out of position, that's the pro way, not creating any fold equity. And not really building the pot either that much. Okay, this guy doesn't like folding button. It's kind of interesting that he was min 3-betting and now he's over 3x open raising. So he actually made bigger open raise than his 3-bet was. And if the button folds, I will go for open shove. I think it's pretty close that you could limp as well. It's sort of marginal to open shove as well. And suited ace as clear small stack, I will be shoving here anyway. And if he raises once again, I think I just shove. Well, he limps this time. Well, let's shove anyway. I actually prefer like shove or check back. mostly. And ace-5 off, I think I just go for open limp. We can shove as well, but it's just kind of not that great risk reward. And you can check call here or bet in a way that by betting we also get this pot down really often, but not this time it seems. Not this time. So you deny some equity by getting some random alive 2 cards to fold. But of course the downside is that no better hand is going to fold, but at the same time it's pretty rare that the villain actually has anything better, so. But once he raises, especially huge like that, it's not necessary to continue. Bet of 200 on that sort of drawy board. Well, he was sort of block betting, I suppose. Shove. No. Once again 4x open raised here. Well, at least against small blind I'm not folding, but it's awkward if the button goes for one of those. Well, now it's min raise, so is it mark of weakness or? Well, I think I shove anyway with my stack distribution here. I mean, if they both fold, I get 1000. And small blind usually doesn't have that big of a hand. Of course, he might call some Broadway hand anyway, but that went nicely. We got 1000 chips here, with no showdown at all. So this session has been so far, like if we drop without cashing here, it will be 270 euros roughly. And ace-8 will be too strong to fold against 8 big blind. And we evaded. Nice, nice. So we cash at least something from this. So it will be over 300 euro profit from this session. Well, it's nice, because I have been running like 600 euro hole in recent sessions, so we are feeling that at least somewhat. And just checking back here. Let's just check and hope for good river, which that one is. Of course, the problem is that he can easily have like 10 or 8, but there's no point in value betting here. Well, we might have gotten deuce X to call. But I mean, he can easily have a few better hands as well. And the ace will be somewhat of a scare card anyway, so getting weaker hands to call here is going to be hard. I usually prefer 3.5x raising against the limp because I don't want to give too good price for willing to limp call in position. Like 3 EP is pretty much the minimum that make any sense. And I would say that is pretty nice flop. Our flush is so high that I definitely just call here. Even if the fourth diamond comes, obviously I'm not going to give up. But by calling we might induce him to barrel here because I don't have that often AX. I think once he makes it that big, it's going to be better to shove, and because I mean if I call here and it's 4 diamond, he might even give up sometimes with some pair hand that is most likely stacking up here. So he actually had 4 out still. And that went nicely. By limping we enabled that possibility, because if I min raise and he shoves, it's going to be quite a disaster. That do we make sort of crying call, or oh, I actually have the €50 game still in registration, but I was still the only one here. So yeah, that was the session. We got, let's actually put my ending bankroll here, so we get the €345 on profit in 3-hour session, so not too shabby, I would say. But yeah, that was for today. So yeah, on the Wednesday I will be on the Mossman stream as visitor. It might be interesting one. Then on Thursday or Friday I will probably stream another live play session, and on the Saturday we will have the Heads Up SNG game related coaching with one of the visitors. But anyway, thanks for watching for today, and if you liked the content, please click the like button or subscribe for my channel. Bye for now.